Next up, we have a fireside chat with Jose Morales. Jose, are you in the house?
Oops, that is loud.
So, Jose works here at Atlassian, and let's just get into it. What do you do here?
I do business development. So I think that's the topic. I do business development, corporate development. I run our channel sales organization and training and technical account management, a couple other things.
Very good. We've structured this chat in framing a little bit on BD in the past, a little bit about what's going on now, some future stuff, and then advice. So let's start with Atlassian's biz dev efforts in the past.
Sure. I mean, I think it's very different than the talk you just heard. I've been doing biz dev and sales and whatever you want to call it for a long time. But we're, especially in the early days, business development, here's what you mean by that. We always want to have partners. I think that partners are really important to how we grew up. And there's two classes of partners for us. One were services partners, people that can go out and implement our products. And the second were partner projects, people who build integrations and integrated with us, extended our platform. But we weren't out there like elephant hunting. Like a lot of what you've been talking just heard about, like, let's go get that big deal that is going to save our life, et cetera. We were not really dependent on big other ecosystems for success. So in fact, I think a lot of those would have actually probably taken us down the wrong line, like connecting another company with our PMs or engineers, probably would have just got us going in the wrong direction for what we were trying to do. We're not reliant on Facebook or anybody that really need today. For our success. So I think for us it was really trying not to do those deals and stay focused on what we needed to do, which was develop great products that were easy to buy, easy to use.
You mentioned that in the prep call we had that
You're not supposed to say that in the prep call. This is all
but when you guys had the guts to pass on some potentially big revenue deals, how did you know those were not worth the effort?
Well, I think it's really tough. If you're selling software to carriers, you clearly need to talk to carriers when they call you. But we had a big company that wanted to OEM part of our software. But that wasn't our game plan. Our game plan was to sell collaboration software to developers and sell it bottoms up, make it affordable. And the challenge with this is, even though it sounded like a big chunk of money, they wanted to do roadmap reviews, and they wanted to think about what else we would build, and we'd have to think about how we rebuild it and white label it. And all of a sudden, we're like, okay, hold on, now we're going to be taking people off of what we really wanted to do. So we decided not to do it. And we really started, we just kept our partner programs focused really on programmatic approach to partnering versus kind of a high touch. And kind of what you just saw, it's the kind of traditional sales. If you go to a big enterprise sales company, that's what the enterprise sales guy does. A little bit different, maybe if you're going to do custom stuff, that might be the delta with traditional sales. But we just, we wanted to make a programmatic approach. Hey, come and participate in our program. We have a great ecosystem. That's how we focus on partnering.
So touch or delve into that a little bit more. Define what programmatic BD is. Maybe give a couple examples. And,
the big difference is because our business development has been focused around creating an ecosystem versus trying to participate in a different ecosystem. So we created standardized rules of engagement. If you want to be a services partner with us, here's how it works. If you want to be a partner program, here's our API, here's the program. Really, it was just here's how to plug in, here's how you can build a plugin, et cetera. And we'll do some co-marketing together. I don't know how that worked, right? And later on, that actually turned into creating kind of a directory of plugins that work with our products. And then eventually, that's actually turned into a marketplace where we actually resell a bunch of them. So it's just a partner program. So we're not actually doing anything unique for any individual partner. And the interesting thing where that kind of sometimes goes is like we'll go meet with another big vendor on occasion. And what ends up happening is they'll end up showing us their partner program, and we'll end up showing them our partner program. We're kind of at a stalemate. It's like one of those, we're both just pointing guns at each other. Here you go. Here's our API. And they're like, well, here's ours. And so it's really tough. So we have really stayed at trying to bring people into our world. That's what we focused on.
You mentioned Service Rocket. Do you want to use this?
Well, really, it's very interesting. They were one of our first professional services partners. They're a small company out of Australia. We're an Australian software company. And they built a services provider. Then they decided to build a couple of extensions, product extensions to what we do. Then they started to market those, and they're selling them separately. And now they sell them on our marketplace. So it's an interesting progression. of a partner that goes from being just professional services to being, a have a whole bunch of different areas that they integrate with us and partner with us.
All right, let's shift into the crystal ball mode. Atlassian obviously is getting quite a bit larger, growing fast. You built this ecosystem, it's got some legs. Where does it go from here? How does BD at a company like Atlassian evolve?
Well, I think all those programs are doing great. I think that the services partner program has 300 partners in it, plus globally. We have thousands of partners who have built and listed things on our marketplace. We sell over 300, and it's actually a really healthy business for us. And so we see both of those things growing dramatically. But we're also, we started as a bottoms-up software company. For those who don't know, we were completely bootstrapped. Didn't take VC. Very different approach. But now we actually have very large customers. So everybody has them. We have as many customers as ours. You can say you have tons of customers. We have customers who have 25,000 developers running our software. So that's pretty freaking mission critical for them. So at this point, we're starting to, now is the time to start thinking about building relationships with bigger firms. You look on the systems integration side, or looking at other major software companies who wouldn't necessarily want to sell things through our marketplace. So we're starting to go out there and have those conversations, and it starts making more sense for us. So we're starting to do that now. I think in the past, on the systems integration side, I think 3 years ago, I got around trying to chase Accenture and turning them into a partner. I think we'd be where, it'd be like a 7-year sales cycle. Versus I think those guys are actually calling us now. So it's kind of a better position to be in for building the relationship.
Yeah, you gave me the structure of BD here, which is lead qualification, partnerships, and sales team. And there isn't really like a...
Well, we want the sales team. So I was saying BD, I think BD means just a bunch of different things. It's kind of like you have to find, some people think I'm BD and what they're doing is lead qualification. Some people are BD and they're really salespeople. Some people are BD and they're doing unique, complex deals. And so then, some places corp dev is part of BD. And so I think often you have to find it. We don't have a traditional sales team at Atlassian. We don't call you. It's all marketing, word of mouth, and people buy our stuff. So BD here is really about partnering with thousands of companies, not about sales. Well, I have channel sales, which is BD, and we're very focused on selling, don't get me wrong.
Very good. A couple more quickies, and then let's get some questions from the audience. Advice for startups. Atlassian's growing fast.
I think the advice for startups is, on the BD front, is before you go chase the big elephant, make sure it makes a lot of sense for your business. Obviously, some companies are completely reliant on, if you build like a marketing automation system, it's really hard not to have a relationship with the major CRM vendors. That's really important to what you do. That's where you get a lot of the data. So you want that to have a relationship. But I would say otherwise, if you're building a small product and be realistic about who's actually going to come and buy it, who's going to partner with you. Otherwise, you're going to end up chasing something for hours. It becomes very, very distracting. So I would say make sure, I think, especially small companies, you need as little distraction as possible. So, if it's not core to what you're doing, then question if you should be doing it. That seems really strange coming from a business development person. But I think that's you see a lot of companies maybe go down the wrong track, trying to chasing gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yeah. Good. Now, your actual title is corporate development, which usually implies some acquisition role. Let's talk about that. It's a little bit tangential to BD, but how does M&A fit into Atlassian's overall?
It's important what we do. We've acquired quite a number of companies over the years. It's been, you look at recently HipChat, we've had HipChat just about for 2 years, and that's done fantastic. In the early days, we had Greenhopper, which became Jira Agile, which is our Agile product, which is done. We have a pretty good track record. We've bought quite a number of things.
How many of your total products were bought versus built?
Well, so a lot of the acquisitions we buy have actually done. We bought some technology last year that went into our service desk offering. We have similar things like that we purchased in the past, similar, but Crowd, Clover, HipChat, Greenhopper, SourceTree, those were all acquired. And it's hard to say. It's hard to say it's inorganic revenue because they were all very early stage companies when we bought them. So it's been many years later. They've grown nicely. We haven't bought anything that had like, 5,000 customers and, a whole, big organization.
No $19 billion deals.
10 billion is the max right now, so I'm assuming we're in that range.
That's all he was talking about these days.
I had someone call me today because they wanted to talk about WhatsApp, and I think they thought HipChat was probably just like WhatsApp. So I told them it was worth twice as much.
Maybe you can quickly flip it out, HipChat, flip it out to...
It's the next, HipChat is the next WhatsApp. WhatsApp only better. It's big data with WhatsApp.
One more question on the M&A side. You mentioned, you made a comment, you need to be careful of acquiring your ecosystem.
Yeah, I think that's a real big challenge because so for a company, if you're building a platform like we have, and you bring in a bunch of partners into that platform, and imagine if you have 4 or 5 competitors in there, and then you take out the best one, you basically have just created a serious problem for a lot of those partners. So it's challenging. We have bought companies from our ecosystem. Greenhopper, as an example, was built as a plugin extension to Jira, and not HipChat, had nothing to do with us. But I'm just very cautious. So yeah, there are things in there that we're doing, but I think you want to build a strong ecosystem. So if you're buying all the cool shit, your ecosystem is just a bunch of crap. So don't do that.
On that note, who's got questions for Jose? Take about 3 questions.
Not me going up. $100 is the first good question. No, maybe that's easy.
Going once.
Going twice.
Bueller.
No worries.
Okay, let's have a round of applause.